This is a Demi Method makeup tutorial. It's makeup that you can wear without foundation or concealer. It's basically using very vibrant color, very sheerly in places only needed. So most of your skin can show through. Therefore, your luminosity and your own skin texture is not masked and caked up with other makeup product. I am out there gobble. I'm an independent Saint Beauty artist, and I've been wearing this method of makeup for about 3 years now, and I love sharing it. I am 53 years old, so I specialize in sharing with mature skin, but this method, this concept of demi and using very little can reach across all ages and all skin types and all skin tones. I would appreciate if you would subscribe to my channel and like and comment and ask any questions you have. I love teaching it. I'm actually a full-time teacher. My last year, I retired this year, and I love teaching it. I do have a knack for teaching it, and it thrills me to no end when I get new ladies starting to wear demi and thinking differently about their makeup and just totally jump on board and fall in love with it just like me. So this is my first time going live on YouTube actually. So the format is different for me and I may fumble a little bit, but you got to start sometime. I typically go live Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and I have a lot new subscribers to the channel. And it's something I've always wanted to do, is to start being here for my subscribers live so they can interact with me. And let's start today, start the new year, 2024. Happy New Year. Okay, so I am going to take a second, so excuse me if I fumble, to kind of look at the guidelines that are here and read and kind of learn. Welcome to chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide to community guidelines. We shall do that. Live chat, all messages are visible. Let's do that. New managing moderators can support your channel in even more ways. Okay. I don't have any moderators. And that flips the camera around. What's the plus sign do? Creator tools, start a poll. Oh, cool. So we can do that kind of live. That's pretty neat. And these 3 dots means save, highlight, share it, and mute microphone. All right. I am used to all of the buttons that I see here, and I am on my phone. All right. I want to share with you a new way that I have been playing with this concept. Again, I am not wearing any foundation and I'm not wearing any concealer. So really, I am barefaced. But there's something I did last night to try out some new techniques that has actually changed the tone of my skin. If you have been watching me and you have seen me use sculpts or contours, a cream contour, to add color in places where I am lighter, I did something a little differently. I don't know if I've actually shared the video on YouTube. I may have, but I know it's on TikTok and I know it is on Facebook and Instagram. But this is what I used. I used tanners in a tiny, tiny little brush, okay? Little tanners in, well, not little tanners, a little bit of tanner using a little brush. Only in the places where I needed additional color. I wouldn't want to go and put the tanner all over my face because then I'm back to square one. Because as we age, or if any of us that struggle with uneven skin tone, and as we age, that tends to get enhanced by sun damage, loss of volume, and the biggest one, translucency of the skin, and it shows more of the things that were hidden by more volume in our skin, and therefore some of the stuff might have been diluted by the light as it traveled through. So as we get a little bit thinner, any kind of age spot is going to be amplified because our skin's translucent. So if you've been watching me before, you've seen I've used contour or I've used the sculpts and added color in places of light. So I did that exact same method, but I used a tanner. I first experimented with this one. This is Love and Tan. This is not any kind of ad or anything. I'm just something I'm sharing what I used. And it works really good. It's not the Express. And this is a medium. So I'm more medium to fair with mature skin, freckles, and age spots. All right, so I used this one first and I really, really liked it, but I still felt like it was too much color dropped in. But I really liked the concept, okay? But then from our founder, Kara, suggested for fair skin and mature skin that's pretty translucent, has a lot of fairness, I did this gold tone. And this is by Tech Color by Bondi Sands. And this is typically used to warm up someone that is very dark skinned or has a very in-depth tan. They want more of a warm glow. That's what this is for. So it actually, to me, has a yellow-orange tone to it. So I was really, really scared to use it. But as it went on and as it dried, I put some on a paper towel, and as it dried, I could see why it works. So this is the one for me, okay? This one, because my skin has a lot of fairness and translucency, in my experience of ladies that I've color matched in person, that mature skin, especially if you're medium to fair, tends to get a lot more violet. So if you're fair, you're going to get more of that lilac color, that very light icy purple on your skin in all the light areas. Even with medium skin tone, as we age, any of our age spots and things like that tend to get more violet, more in depth, because more blood flow is being able to show through because you're losing you're losing volume, so it becomes more translucent. This one amazed me. This is one for me, this type of color, that yellow orange. And I only went to light areas, which now you can't see, but I'm going to share before and after in my stories. I have put in the description my Instagram and my Facebook. I didn't put TikTok, but I can go back there and put TikTok and let you see before and after. So you can see a still shot, so you know there's no smoke and mirrors. What my face, how uneven tone it is. But see, right now, the light areas are not even showing up. But I've only applied it in small little areas. I didn't put it all over my face, because if I did put it all over my face, it'd be no different than putting on foundation. And that's the trouble that we get with foundation, especially if we have uneven skin tone, is we're just covering a whole surface and kind of getting an in between the lights and the darks and the discoloration, just to kind of give somewhat of an even skin tone, but still the dark ends up just graying out and you can still see the evidence of it. With this, adding color in between the distractions and only in light areas. And it took me maybe 15 minutes, and I let it sit for an hour and rinsed my face off, did my skincare, woke up this morning, and I was in shock that this was more of an even skin tone, and it's just going to make putting the Demi concept on so much quicker. I'm excited. I think it would be awesome to have things like this that are in color to do the exact same thing. So maybe we will. So this one is wonderful. All right, here's another one that I did use last night. This is B-Tan, and this is more of a purple, a violet. So why would I use that? It's going to make in-depth. I use this for a little more in-depth structure around my eyes and just outside the lip, not near the mouth. Didn't want to ingest it because it says don't put it on the lips. It was just underneath here, just a little. And I actually only left that on there 30 minits and rinsed it off. But These are awesome, and I'm just in shock that so little was used, and right now I'm like not mad about it. It's more of an even skin tone. So now I just want to add some vibrancy, some color, and maybe kind of dress it up a little bit. But this is a way to have absolutely zero texture or makeup texture on your skin. It's just my natural skin texture, which I want. I'm just really over makeup texture. It looks great on camera and it's fun to watch, and you get instant gratification from seeing a product go on and it's completely one color. Oh, you get relief, like, oh, it doesn't look the same anymore. But then you're still left with makeup texture. And when we see each other in person, it's like, she's got on makeup. I don't want that. I'm over that. I just want my skin to look its best, especially being 53. I just want my skin to look healthy and uninterrupted with product that people can actually see me. All right, so it's not necessarily the no makeup, but basically I don't want anybody to think that I have tons of makeup on, or I don't want them to look and say, oh, what pretty makeup. I want them to see me. And using these tanners in places of the sculpts and the contours, like I've shown you before, that just really up the ante. And I use things like a little brush like this and this to apply it. I never used anything larger than that. So let's get the rest of the makeup on to finish it up. I am going to add some warmth and vibrancy to areas that I have blue veins. So right in here, my forehead, they really show through right in there. And I didn't add any kind of, there's very little bit of that tanner here. I just want to warm that up, and I like using it on my neck as well. I'm going to use a color called 05. It's a saturated orange, and I'm going to use the shape brush, and I'm going to just tap it over areas that have blue veins. It's very translucent. We get kind of hollow right in here in our temples, and this orange counteracts that shadow because shadow is blue, and it just looks healthy and fuller in there. Love it. Plus, having already done with the self tanner, this is shocking to me. I'm just shocked. And here. So if you're new here, I would appreciate if you subscribe to my channel, ask any questions. Okay, that alone, I don't want to get rid of all of the variation of color, because that's what makes skin look like skin. But I don't want to have the distractions and unevenness. And because of the tanner has added some even tone and the contrast between light and dark, it just looks more like me and my skin, and you don't see many of the distractions. Okay, I'm really, really into that. Okay. I am excited that the yellow-orange tanner that I used last night has really, there's a couple things I would have done differently that I can see that I would have done maybe a little bit on my nose, but that's the learning process, the learning curve that I'm in. And just showing you can learn it too. Never be afraid to try something new. This is what I have loved about Demi, and what it's done for me is caused me to not be afraid to try. Okay, I've added a little bit of warmth in there. I'm like shocked that I have very little to do that I normally do because I've already done all the sculpting. There's a couple of places like right here in my nose, right in there, that I didn't do too good of a job. So I'm going to use a little bit of the henna. This is a cream contour by Saint. All of the things I'm using are from Saint, except for the tanners. But right in there, okay, see the difference? I softened this by adding some depth to that light area. I could have done a better job with that, with the tanner, but I'm just gonna use a little bit of the henna contour. And do you see how this is softer and then my nose has more sculpt? Do you see this? I'm gonna do the same thing there. Right next to the darkest part, it has that sharp edge of light to dark. And see, it's softening that. Okay, you see that light line? I'm using the bright brush. And I'm just softening right in there. I was pretty reserved because I was trying a new color. So the great thing is, this is going to be done for a few days. However, I do know there is a remover. So if you do this and you experiment, you think, oh no, I've made a mess, there is a remover you can get like at Ulta. There's, it's just a self-tanner remover. Okay guys, look, underneath my eyes, see how I've just softened the light and dark? I only went on the things that are flashy and light, and you see how it is, this is even softer underneath my eyes, or even softer. That is my doggy you hear because there's a dog in a truck that drove by barking. Okay, I'm just kind of looking at small little light areas that I might have missed in my learning using the tanner, but not really that much. Okay, I'm in love with it, I really am. This is awesome. Right now I'm going to add a little bit of flesh to my cheeks. So you may naturally have flushing cheeks. Use it to your advantage and allow some of the red to show through. I don't have that advantage. I do have a few broken capillaries, but not enough to make me have any kind of color. So I'm going to use this color called RV7. It mimics Fluff Flow, and using a little brush, I can use one even smaller, but it's a nice little fluffy, and away from the areas that have a broken capillary, I'm just creating a flush on my cheek. Now I have no tanner in there that I used. If I did have some age spots in here, I would have added some tanner, but you can see just quickly how the cheek now has come alive and it looks more youthful. So I like a nice warm cheek, but I don't follow any kind of pattern on my cheek to apply, like go here, do these little hacks like this. I don't do any of that. Each cheek is going to be different, so I apply how I want to look like I'm flushing. You can even go up close to the eye in that manner as well. You can even take it here in different places if you do not have some natural flush, which looks healthy. Okay, I'm like blown away at the results of the tanner. So yeah, I cut myself there with I was using a razor to clean up my brows and got a little overzealous. Plus my skin is very fragile that I'm older, and I do use tretinoin. And okay, do you see right there, I was talking, not paying attention. Do you see how I went across something that's already red and it got bolder? That's what foundation does to skin that is uneven, we just put one color over everything. And if we're trying to add depth of color, whatever's darker is going to get darker, and whatever's light is just going to be grayed out. So I should have been paying more attention, and I would have stayed away from that little red area. But it's okay, I can filter it out and tone it down with a Demi corrector. I'm going to use a little brush like this, and there's a little light spot in there that I'm going to use that same color, and look how it changed that spot. It was a little light area. Now look at the difference. And I'm only using that red violet cheek color to bring some balance to that. It's almost like you're pixelating the color on your skin. Okay, I've already done my eyes, but I'm going to, with the tanner, with the violet tanner, I'm going to use this 07, very vibrant orange. Remember these correctors are translucent. I'm going to use something called Edge Brush. And I have tattooed eyeliner. And it's very dark. So dark is always blue. I want to neutralize that blue, and since it's so dark, I matched it in saturation, and I'm going exactly on top of it. And the opposite of blue is orange, and anything dark with depth of color is blue. And when I used this orange on that, it's completely neutralized. So you see the difference? It's neutralized and matches what's around it. Just going exactly on it. So if you're new here, you can subscribe and ask me any questions about what I'm doing. This is called the Demi Method, and the concept is using very saturated, vibrant color. Now look at the difference. I really like the warmness around my eye instead of the coolness of the tattooing. And literally you don't see it at all. You see zero texture of this color because it is translucent. So what's happening, this orange, the light is traveling through this translucent product, going through the color on my skin, and that tattooing, which is blue, and blue and orange, well, it's not blue, it's dark. Anything dark considered blue. They neutralize each other. They are opposites. And therefore, when the light comes back out, it's a very neutralized color, and you do not see evidence of the tattooing. You just see the actual lash line, which that's what I'm trying to achieve right now. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I'm using a very sharp edge. You just use a little brush. This color is called 07, which means it's a very high saturation of orange, but yet it's translucent. I've had this 110 probably for 2 years. That's how pigmented the product is. It has to be very bold and vibrant in color to do this, because you are using it so sheerly, and it goes on sheerly. It's probably has a 10% opacity, which is different than foundation and concealer, which has 100% opacity. These correctors, the Demi concept, is a very low opacity, meaning it allows you to see through it like a stained glass. the tanner that I use would be like 100% or zero opacity, I should say. And so therefore you don't even see what I've done with the tanner the night before. See, I'm just using a little bit of and going directly on it. Ask any questions you have. Okay, I am just like in shock and awe at the self tanner used for sculpt the night before. And like that process is going to be done for 2-3 days, at least 3. The last time I did it was 3 days. So I really think 3 days is going to make my process so much easier. It'd be so cool if we had a product that had these vibrant colors like this and did the same thing. But with these Demi correctors that Saint has, guys, I've used this for so long. I think this one's a year old. I replaced this one and this one more often than the others, but most of these I've had 2 years. This one right here I've had 3. It lasts forever. I'm going to go ahead and do my brows. I am going to use a brow wax, which also fits. That's what I love about Saint, is everything's fitting into one palette. And I'm going to use a little setting spray. You can use the water and it just activates the wax. Have you ever used a brow wax? I haven't until the past year. I've actually loved it so much that I was inspired to let my hair grow, because I always kept it kind of trim because my hair grows straight out and it's very thin and sparse. And since having the brow wax, I can have a little bit longer hair and use it and shape it with the brow wax. And it gives me a little more volume and more hair. I have less out here, which is typical of mature skin, because again, I am 53 and post-menopause, yay. And I like to back it into the hair just a little bit. That wax is kind of built up on my little brush. And I think there's a little hair on that somewhere, a piece of fuzz. And then let it dry a second. Then I shape it with my finger and then fill it in. It makes it so much easier. I live here in Georgia. Yeah, that's awesome. You're from Georgia too? Okay. Oh, there it is. I knew I'd find it. It was driving me insane. There's a little hair had gotten caught in it. And I could feel it on there. Ah, got it. I'll let it dry for just a second. And if once it's tacky, this side is already tacky, I just kind of press it up, because again, mine grows straight out, and press it with my finger. And then you can take the brush and shape it. Kind of just knock down the top part of it. Let's see if this is dry. Yep, basically. Now, if you want to do eyeshadow, that doesn't mean like we're not doing the Demi method if we wear it. It's just what you're wanting to achieve. I want my eyes to today just be more of sculpted and shaped. And the diffusing the tattooed eyeliner makes it feel more like me, and using this purple, the purple tanner, and letting it set and build up, it mimics a lot of the purple tones that I have around my eyes already. So I really, really love that. Now I'm going to use indigo contour, a cream contour. You might use a favorite pencil or an eyeshadow, but whatever you use, always fill them in, especially if you're on the mature side. We tend to lose a little bit of a tail out here, so always give yourself a tail. Just like so. You don't want to come down and go around all the way. It's going to drag your eyes down, but I like to go up here, at least going above my ear. I'm really just following my natural shape of my brow instead of trying to create a shape, which is hard to maintain. It's time consuming, and it's always noticeable in person that that is not a natural brow. So I like to find a way that makes it look more natural. Okay, there we go. Now if you wanted more of an intense tone to the eyes, you can do that. I'm going to show you. I'm going to use indigo contour. You can use an eyeshadow. You can use color, but I'm just shaping in the light areas using the indigo contour. I think that eyelid skin, you know, you've got to be it's very delicate, especially when we're older. So just kind of take care of it and just be gentle with it. That's the reason I like the cream. I'm not really going into the creases. This one on that inner corner is already a deeper color. And using this method, instead of following like a trend on or a pattern for eyes, I'm just using my eye shape to guide me. There, love it. And you could do a little on the lips, just right in here. Okay, that was like super easy and quick. I'm just like blown away at how easy this process is or has been with using that self-tanner. Now I'm going to use an RV7, very vibrant red violet. So you can use something you already have. And I'm going to use the same process around my lips, but I'm only going to tap in those light pink areas. This is like a stain. You could use a stain, but I'm only wanting to hit the light areas. To bring more balance to my lips. And what's going to happen is going to make your lips appear to have more volume. Yes, that's Red Violet 7. You could use like a black cherry or anything. Can you see? It's just super, super saturated. But you're using it so little and only in small places, it's only going to take very, very little. Okay, now I am just going to filter out the distractions, the little small distractions that stood out at the beginning. But since I have more balance and tone on my skin from adding color in all the light areas using the tanner, I'm going to now have very few little distractions that show up more dominantly than they did before. So I'm going to just first start with like this little scratch here. This is very red. Typically it's not red, it's always violet. I have some tutorials on my page that you can follow. I'll be posting one today after the live that talks about how to filter out like a pimple. You can use that same concept anywhere on the face that has that red raspberry blueberry feel, using a tiny little artist detail brush, which I will share in the description. And I'm just lightly dotting over the darkest part of the brightest part. If you get too much, just tap it away. So I'm only focusing on what's the brightest. You can see it's automatically going away. Same thing here, targeting only what's vibrant first. And what's left is going to be kind of dull and shadowy. I'll come back to that in a minute. And notice when I just barely tap, it takes very little. We also have a cleaning towel that you can clean off your brush if you get too much, or between colors. Now here is a little violet, blueberry look, broken capillaries, a little scratch, and I'm only touching the darkest, brightest, not darkest, the brightest, the most vibrant of the red with that. Same thing here at the cheek, a little red spot here which interrupts and doesn't make the cheek appear smooth. We can actually manipulate the texture with color by diffusing the distracting colors with the correctors. We actually change the direction of light, the shadows of texture, and makes the skin appear more smooth. Okay, really. Here on my chin is very violet. This is very normal in this area of our face to have more violet tones, especially mature skin. And it's never really the whole area. I wouldn't want to put it on there and then blend it out. That's not how these correctors work. You put it on, then blend. We don't want to do that. This is translucent. We want to target the exact color right on top of the color, because you're just creating halos and moving the color on the outside of what you're trying to filter, and it just creates more of a bullseye around the distraction, and you're back to square one. So just take the time and do a little work. Never think it's the whole thing. And I'm only targeting small, little, hot, vibrant red points. And I think I got them all. Here on this side. And you can see how I just lightly tap. Yeah. Now I'm going to take care of anything with depth, like in here that's just dull and shadowy. Clean off my brush. I'm going to use 03. So you saw me use this orange for the tattooing because I wanted to drop in some color. It was very saturated, very dark, so I needed to match the saturation, and I didn't want to erase all the color. I wanted it to drop in and make it very neutral, nice warm brown, so I used this. But now I want to just subtract the depth of the color, so I'll go down in saturation. So this is an 07, an 05, and this is an 03. So I'm going to use a lower saturation just to subtract a little bit of the depth, and depth is always blue. So in here, anything shadowy, I want to use it. So if I can see it, and it's just like a dull shadow, you see it? And I'm just going to take my time and just, it's less work if you just take the time and just pinpoint it and see, look, the texture of my chin is even better because I took out that the depth of that shadow, the dullness, the grayness. Right. Again, just lightly tap. Here on this part of my eye, it's sunken in. Right in here, there's a couple of little dull age spots that makes the eye not to appear smooth. They were already there before I did the tanner, but still just wanted, you're adding color in the light areas with the tanner or the sculpts or the contour, and then the things that are dark, we're trying to bring them in back into balance. You may have to go to the things that are super dark and just give them a little bit of lighter color and bring everything to balance. That way everything is like on the same plane and looks more even. And that's all that we're doing. And doing this, see how much smoother that is. Now I'm not too concerned about the shape in there because it's the shape of my nose and my face, and it does give the apple of my cheek more volume because it gives the, that's what it's doing, it's pushing that, and that's what I want. I don't want to erase that completely because that is my bone. But there is a little bit of intensity because there's a couple of little sunspots right in that depth, and that's going to soften it. And that's what I want. I just want not to erase the structure of the face. I just want to soften the difference between light and dark. And do you see, no matter which angle, and there is zero evidence of product. And it's never going to crease. Now, I'm telling you, that is really difficult to achieve with concealer and with makeup foundation, I mean. All right. Here, let me try something. Can I zoom in? Oh, I can't. I don't have to get up close, but I can zoom in and let you see that it's just normal skin texture there, and you see no evidence of makeup. It just looks like skin, and it doesn't matter which angle that you look. When I smile, you're not going to see all of the makeup texture, and that's what we're trying to achieve. Here on my nose, a couple of, that's the one I really struggle with, is my nose. I can't do contour on my nose. But the tanner, the orange one, the yellow orange one from Bonnie Sands, I believe it is. Oh, no, I'll have to get it back up here in just a minute. I can't remember because literally I just got them. But it has allowed my natural nose shape to be itself. I'm not a fan of nose contouring. I wish it was something that would die in 2024, and we just go with our natural shape and just take care of the distracting colors, and you can see how it naturally fits my face now, and it's more even. And that's what we're trying to achieve. And here I'm just, again, using the 03 for that dullness color. Same thing over here. This eye's a little different. It's never going to be the same, but there's just a couple of little, you can see like a dot or two right in there. I have a dark, dark vein that peeks out right there, and it makes that look more hollow, but you can see when I took out that dark little vein, that little dot. Here, just a couple little small, just touch and go, using very little product. Go exactly over top of the distraction. You may have to take your brush and move it into different angles. And the veins, there's just a couple. You never will make a line over the vein. I'm just dotting because veins don't travel in a line. They're kind of squiggly and snaky like underneath the skin. So the top parts of the vein will show up on the top, get closer to the top layer of the skin. So that's basically what I'm doing, is just tapping that. Okay, now I'm going to use that same thing right here. There's a dark freckle in there. I think my husband's cooking. Hey, I can hear him in the kitchen, can you? Really, eyeball's gonna start itching. I'm really liking the tanner. That is like super easy and quick. Okay, then it dries down very nicely. So give it a rest, let it settle on the skin. I'm gonna go ahead and apply my mascara very quickly. I love using L'Oreal Double Extend. I like it because it's tubular and it doesn't, I always struggle with mascara transferring to my eyes and making them look like a raccoon. I really love this because it's tubular and it does not transfer, and it's super easy on the lashes, very kind to the lashes, and not waterproof, which I cannot wear waterproof mascara. Like to wiggle it. I have very light eyelashes. I'm a redhead, so right at the root it can be very blonde, so I always wiggle and shimmy it and slide it out through the lashes. And I just want a little hint of color. The Hello Skincare Lash Serum has been wonderful. I will add it in the comments or in the description as well. So I've got to put the TikTok, the brush that I use from Amazon, and I can put this mascara, and then I'll also put the Hello Skincare. Just do a little bit on the bottom. I kind of sweep them out this way. Grab a hold of them and sweep outward. So it just kind of goes out like this. All right, now that it's had a second to dry down, I like to take a little brush that's clean, like this. And just look, did I get overzealous and have too much product in one area? And I just kind of tap it. I don't want to do any blending. I just want to go exactly on top of it and to make sure that I didn't get like too much and then I didn't see it. And then you can see this is my skin and no makeup, but you can see it's more even skin tone. Even with my eyes, it looks like I have eyeshadow on, but I don't. It's just enhanced the shadow using a little bit here and the sculpt. And you can see that I have this natural shape, which gives shape to my cheek and the eye itself. And I don't have the texture of concealer or, let's just get really close, concealer or foundation. My skin still has a variation of color and looks like skin because you are seeing 90% my skin just using a little bit of translucent product. Yay. You can add a little gloss. This is a balm. I really love it. And add a little balm to my lips. If you live in a dry climate, I do not. But in winter, tend to get dry. You can actually use this balm on your cheeks for a nice little glow. If you're more on the dry side, I love using it on my lips. Okay, I'm done. Do not need to set it. I do not use any powder. It is my favorite. So if you wish to be color matched, what I do when I color match ladies, I give them graphics and specific little videos tailored just to them to help them with placement. And if you're afraid of the tanners, I get it. You don't have to start there. You can start with a cream contour or you can start with the sculpts. They'll literally, the little sculpts, these size 10s, would last you over a year. But you can also start with cream contour. You may already have a cream contour you can use. Let's talk about the color. Then you can get these correctors, put them all in a nice little palette. Guys, look at this. This is all my makeup. This is it. So going places is very easy. Packing, this is all I need. And now that we have the tanner, I can just pop in the tanner there as well. So if you wish to be color matched, I've added the link in the description. It's yes.outtherematchme.com. If you want to grab some of these and play along, go to outtheregobble.com and you can pick up some of these. Ask any questions, subscribe to my channel, share the video, and ask any questions or comments, and I will be there to help you and guide you. Thank you for joining in.